Welcome to the webinar series on MACAWS, the multilingual academic corpus of assignments writing and speech by Bruna Sommer, Alexei Novikov, Adriana Picoral, and Dr. Shelley Staples. This is part 1 introduction of the webinar series. This webinar series is comprised of 7 videos. This is video 1, which presents an introduction to MACAWS. Video 2 talks about our material development framework. Our pedagogical materials in both Portuguese and Russian is comprised of 5 videos in total, which can be found from part 3 to part 7 in this webinar series. In this introduction, I will be addressing 3 main points: why we built MACAWS, what it is, and how it has been built. We will start with why we've built MACAWS. An environmental scan revealed very few learner corpora of Portuguese and Russian, 2 less commonly taught languages in the United States. For Russian, we found the Russian Learner Corpus, or RULAC. For Portuguese, we have the University of Toronto Romance Phonetics database and the Learner Corpus of Portuguese as second foreign language. You'll find links to these corpora and more details on them on our supplemental materials. Although these are great resources for researchers of language produced by learners of Russian and Portuguese, these corpora were not large enough or didn't have enough information on the participants or students to be used by both researchers and teachers. We've built MACAWS to fill this gap and provide large learner corpora that can be used for both research and pedagogical material development of languages that are less commonly taught in the United States, like Russian and Portuguese. Our plan is also to have an online platform for this corpora to be used by students and teachers in the future. We are in the process of building MACAWS. The plan is to sustain ongoing data collection and processing. At the moment, we have a total of 193 participants in the Portuguese learner corpus and 60 learners in the Russian learner corpus. That amounts to a total of a little over 1,100 texts in Portuguese and 97 texts in Russian. The types of assignment vary by language and course, but in general, they can be divided into descriptive, narrative, reflective, argumentative, analytical, and literature genres for the Portuguese corpus, and descriptive, narrative, reflective, and argumentative genres for the Russian learner corpus. For Portuguese, we have a little over 250,000 tokens, and for Russian, a little under 20,000 tokens. In addition to collecting student-produced assignments, we also collect and produce pedagogical materials associated with the language courses represented in the corpus. This picture represents what MACAWS is. It is a corpus of student assignments and a repository of pedagogical materials. The corpus and the repository are displayed in a connected manner on our upcoming online interface. Regarding how MACAWS is built, we have here our corpus building processes, which are divided into 3 steps. In the recruitment and downloading step, we recruit students in classrooms, and if they sign the informed consent, we download and process their demographic survey data. Then we download their assignments that were submitted online through the course management system for the class or other platforms like Google Docs. For conversion and cleaning, we either convert written assignments to text files or transcribe oral assignments. Everything is de-identified, so no student and instructor information is available on the final text files. In the final step, the metadata and annotation step, demographic metadata is added to each text file. The files are also annotated for parts of speech and syntactic information. Here's the metadata we include in each text file in our corpora. Again, this information is retrieved from demographic surveys that students submit as part of their coursework. Regarding information specific to the student, we have age for both Portuguese and Russian corpora. We have L1s spoken by the student for both corpora. We also have additional languages or second languages the student speaks. And for Portuguese, we have level of proficiency for each one of these languages, the additional languages. These are self-reported. For the Russian corpus, we get from the student their language learning background in Russian. For example, if they've learned Russian study abroad, high school, and so on. For the Russian corpus, we also get proficiency test scores from TOEFL and also their OPI level if available. We also have metadata that is specific to the course that assignment was produced for, including course and semester for both Portuguese and Russian. The instructor code, again, this is not the instructor name because we don't want to identify anyone. For Portuguese, we also have what year they are in school, if they're freshman, sophomore, and so on. For both Portuguese and Russian, we have what previous courses in that language they've taken. For Russian only, we have duration of language use outside the class. This is self-reported, of course. And for Portuguese, we also get their major and minor. Language instructors are an important part of MACAWS, as they are involved with our corpora in 3 ways. First, they give us access to their classrooms to consent students. They also provide their pedagogical materials to be aligned with the students' productions. Finally, they participate in workshops for both discussing and creating data-driven learning materials. You'll hear more about these materials in the next videos. This was part 1 of our webinar series on MACAWS. Part 2, the next video, addresses our material development framework.